We had a certain amount of rehearsal. For me, one of the best memories of that shoot was the table read, where we have the whole cast together, including multiple Academy Award winners and Pulitzer Prize-winning playwrights, 2 of them, Tracy Letts and Sam Shepard. So that was, we had a couple of days or even a week of rehearsal in that period. But then one of the best scenes in the movie is that famous dinner scene from the play, which still amazes me. They lifted the scene from the playbook, word for word, put it in the screenplay, and then shot it, and it all made the cut. It's a 25-minute scene, so that maybe is what Chris Cooper was talking about, joyous, because those 4 days that we shot that dinner scene were amongst the best I've ever, the most enjoyable that I've experienced as an actor.
In Red Tails, we were all meant to be fighter pilots, so the idea was, you know, their late teens, early 20s, and they just didn't see me in that way. So it was to play one of the generals, which was a smaller role, but there was this role of lightning in it, which I just gravitated towards instantaneously, and the casting director thankfully gave me a shot and said, look, come in, start, if it's going south, we're going to switch very quickly. And they never asked me to read the other role, and I ended up getting it. So that was a time I...
Wear something that made you seem younger? Did you do something to come off more youthful?
Well, I shaved,
That's what I mean.
which always helps.
You think about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, how do I...
Yeah, well,
which shirt makes me look younger?
Of course you do.
It's that dumb shit
course,
that you have
that's
to...
what I'm...
You look really young. You look very youthful today. It was a good choice.
I thought I would do that, you know.
I did kind of the same thing for Place Beyond the Pines, actually. When I got sent the script, it said, take a look at the part of AJ. And I just didn't respond to AJ in the same way I responded to Jason. So I just made a tape for Jason, who in the script is described as a really buff, half Hispanic kid, you know. And so I didn't really fit the physical description, but there was just something about it that really resonated with me. So that's the tape I made for it.
So there's a really buff, half Hispanic kid somewhere just hating you right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I guess it was a little different for me because I was offered the part because everybody knows each other in Denmark. It's a very small country. But when I read it, yeah, obviously I identified with the character, but I also, which I think is the beauty of that script, is I identified with everybody else in the script. It's basically a story about a whole little town turning against one man. But I understood everyone. I thought they were all doing it from somewhere that was from love, that was turned into fear and then eventually into anger. So it was very painful reading the script because you had no idea who you should hit or who you should scream at, who's the baddie here, because everybody was doing the right thing.
The best directors I've worked with, they just create an environment that is best for the film. You know, working with Lee Daniels twice on The Paperboy and then The Butler, you know, they were very different in terms of atmosphere. He had different approaches to directing both films. I mean, you know, the common theme is that he's very uncompromising, he knows what he wants, and he's very, very fastidious with both himself and his actors. But, you know, The Butler was a much bigger, broader, you know, piece than the Paperboy, which was more intimate, and so they required different things of him as a filmmaker. And I do think that as an actor, that's what you want from your director, is that they create the environment for you to do your best work. Now, I'm personally I say no to a lot of things on the basis of the people involved, because I want every opportunity I have to be one from which beyond it I'm a better actor, and so I will pursue ardently filmmakers who I admire, because sometimes I do think that working with people who aren't great at what they do can be detrimental to your growth as an actor, because you pick up bad habits. The worst thing that can happen, I think, to you as an actor is you go into a bubble where you go, I've got to protect myself because this guy or this lady doesn't know what they're doing, and that not to have that back and forth that you would otherwise have with actors is, I think, detrimental to you as an actor in the piece.
I do think the most rewarding experiences are the ones that are collaboration. You know, I mean, that's the way it was with John and Killy Darlings and with Derek in Place Beyond the Pines. You know, not being afraid to say something, but like you said, also not being afraid to step back and let things happen. But to have someone that really knows what's going on and has a really great perspective and who you trust and who can set you on a different path if you need that, you know, I mean, but not feel like they have to be talking to you the whole time. They know when to let it live and they know when to guide it.
When I auditioned the second time for August Osage County, I was coming from another set, and the scenes were set in the 1980s, so I had like 80s hair. But I had to rush over at my lunch break and then get back to on camera, so I put on a baseball hat. The actor in front of me also had a baseball. This is what I'm talking about. Which shirt did you wear to appear slightly younger to these producers? So I go in, and I'm thinking, the fucker's got a baseball hat, right? He took my gag. I had to, because I had to cover my sort of, the wrong period type of hair. But I learned when I came in and spoke to John Wells, he said, no, he took his hat off and he wrung it in his hands a lot. So John said, so leave yours on. Right. Literally, this is Jonathan Rhys Meyers, who's a fantastic actor, right. But he didn't get the part. This is another part, because he rang the... Because, I don't think the director liked him doing that one thing with, don't wring your hat because you're worried in a scene.
There are more offers than there used to be, but I also find a lot of times the roles that you really want are the roles that everyone else also really wants, so, and there's always going to be at least 10 people at above like your amount of success that also want to play that part, so it can still, you still do have to fight for a lot of them, not all of them, but certainly a lot of them.
There's no more your agent trying to play a strong hand by saying, maybe they'll just meet for this one or something like that. Everybody I know, we go in now and we audition because, as Dane says, somebody else is going to take that part if you don't go win it. It's not a tea party.
But you also have to give respect to the filmmakers that they might know you, they might see everything you've done, but they might want to see a different chemistry between two people, and you have to give them that. There's nothing worse than standing on a set and it's not working. You made the wrong choices.
And I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
Look, there's all these things you could worry about. You could worry about your auditions. You could worry about what shirt you're wearing. You could worry about all this stuff, but ultimately the one thing that you have and is entirely personally yours is the work, and that's yours, and you can rely on that, and that's always there. And hopefully, you're getting good material to really sink your teeth into, and you can develop a personal relationship with that and focus on that and not let all this other stuff get in the way.